Okay, for some reason my AC inside is pretty warm. Just gonna check and feel the low side line. Low side line doesn't feel really cold.
Welcome back to Kung Fu Maintenance, where I show you how to make the most likely repairs you'll need to make in your lifetime. If you'd like to get the latest videos, subscribe and then hit the little bell icon right at the subscribe button, and it'll notify you of any new videos when they're released for you.
Removing heat. Low side line doesn't feel really cold, but it's definitely removing heat from the unit, from the house. So we're running. Let's see. Okay, here it is at the suction line of the AC. It's the liquid line, and then the larger one is the suction line. So I just wanted to feel in here for. Make sure this is nice and cold. I don't want to peel off my stuff, but yeah.
This one was warm. Definitely should have been colder.
Air conditioner down. Had to turn it off temporarily to get refrigerant and everything, and make sure it doesn't get worse. Now I'm going to lower it down cooler so it doesn't turn off. Make sure it turns on. And it got the hold button going, so we're going to keep it at 75. It's supposed to be really hot today, probably about 110. Okay, AC stopped cooling, or just not cooling very well, and notice the suction line is about lukewarm. Checked it at the evaporator also. I felt the suction line, and it's also lukewarm at the suction line, so it means I've got a leak somewhere, or I mean I've got a low refrigerant charge. Possibly and likely that I have a leak somewhere, and so I'm gonna be charging this and also figuring out what's going on today. Let's see. But out to get it done, so here goes. Before I did anything on this one, I just wanted to do a quick leak check on the Schrader valves before I touch anything. And gonna put the sensitivity here to maximum and just see if we've got a it's picking up some on the Schrader valve. Let's go down a little bit. Go ahead and pull just the caps off. Check the caps. It's on pretty tight. Yeah, I can see the leak there on the Schrader valve. Visible bubbling. These were the original, but I can definitely see the Schrader valve. So there's my leak. You can definitely see it bubbling right away. See the refrigerant on my finger. What I have is a torque tool, and let's see if we could just fix the refrigerant Schrader valve with the torque tool. Here goes. If not, I have my Schrader replacing core tool. So what's cool is this only allows you to tighten it to the 5 pounds. So we'll see if that's gonna stop it or not. If not, I'll change that Schrader core. But for now, I need to get to charging because this thing is, I don't want to overheat.
The torque tool is pretty cool because it shows tighten or loosen. If a core is too tight, you know, but you just tighten it to the 5 pounds. So I'll charge this up and then we'll recheck that afterwards. So this one I've identified my leak. I'm going to go ahead and pull it. It doesn't mean that's my only leak, but it's likely. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that as I prep and get my refrigerant ready, and we'll charge this up. I'll get some gloves on to prevent against frostbite, and I'll get this going. Okay, got my sock wet here. I'm going to take an indoor wet bulb measurement. So we plugged it into T1 for the wet bulb, and we put this on in front of the return. And then we're going to scroll over to, first I need to pick my refrigerant, R410a. So I push down on the arrows. That'd be for R22. We're doing R410a. Okay. And I need to enter my there's our PSI. We're looking for we're on Fahrenheit. That's our units. It's been a little while since I used my gauges. Why it's showing a negative. Oh, it's right here. I need to go indoor wet bulb and go enter. So it's on 83. And it's pretty close to the temperature here, but it's done with the wet bulb. So we'll hit enter. That'll lock that in. Now we're going to go take the outdoor dry bulb. Okay, take this outside and do the outdoor dry bulb. This one I can pull, and I can put my other probe clamp temperature plug back in. Alright. Okay, I got my wet bulb. Now we're going outside to take the outdoor dry bulb in the shade. Okay, and we're at 108.1. So now we can hit enter. And target superheat at this point is 40.1. Now I'll probably retake those measurements once we get closer. Okay, here we go. Set my gauges, get everything set up here and ready. These I can hang here. I'm going to have the probe here from each of these. Get them kind of untangled. Alright, there's the left one is the suction side. You're going to put it straight up and down on the suction line, just ahead of the deal. And we want it straight up and down, as that allows the surface deal to take from the sides rather than from the bottom or the top, which might give us a false reading. So now the liquid side. Yeah, we can either do it before or after. Shouldn't really matter too much. Okay, get my hoses.
My hoses have some quick connect fittings on them, so it's a good thing. This one. This off. These connect to the bottom. Center one is our service line, which we hook up our gas to. The left side is the suction side. Goes to the larger diameter pipe. The blue suction side. Same thing goes to the bottom. These are just storage points up here. Make sure my gas gets in there and all. With our deals, we want to make sure this is off. This is off. So we turn it this way to turn it on and this way to charge it that way. Make sure those are closed. And here's the high side. Alright. And now we're hooked up there. Grab all my garbage here. Okay. Get rid of that stuff. Now we're basically ready to charge here. And got my bottle of R410a. R410a is a blend, so we're going to charge it as a liquid. And I got my gloves again to protect frostbite. Before I do that, I'm going to take the plastic stuff off here and get this prepped. Once I get the gloves on, everything is a little trickier to maneuver. £25 jug of R410a. It's not too bad in comparison to the price of R22. My cap. Got my pockets. What is it? Or I can add it to right here. Okay. I'm going to flip it upside down while I'll hook up my hose first. Yellow service line hose. These have quick connects on the end, so it shuts off the refrigerant flow real quick when you disconnected, it shuts off real quick. So that's a good thing. R410a, so flip it upside down and charge it as a liquid. I'm going to go ahead and open the gas line. So that's open, and we'll need to purge, but I'm going to flip it upside down first. Okay. Now we're ready to charge my liquid. And get my gloves ready. It's come out pretty good here. Film.
get us a little closer here. Hopefully you can see the LCD screen. Got my gloves ready. Got 2 gloves on my right hand. One on my left because I think I lost one, so I'm just going to avoid my left one touching anything. Do most of the work with my right. Okay, now we're going to purge the center line. Liquid. And now we're going to hook up the low side to the larger side line. Looks like we're not leaking at the moment, but we're going to recheck all that after. Okay. On there's our standing pressure, and I need to change the unit type to Fahrenheit. That's good. Pressure 267. It's our standing pressure at the moment. And we'll need to purge, but I'll hook up to the high side now. There we go. So now I'll purge the lines. Tighten this on a little bit more. Gave kind of a strange sound. Okay. There we go. Now the low side. Now the worst thing for a unit is to get air in the line, so what we've done is purge the air from inside each of the hoses so that once we open the line, no air is coming back into the unit. So it's all only refrigerant in the hoses now as it's pushed the air out. So here's our standing pressures, and we won't really get a reading on anything yet, but we're ready to charge. Okay, again we've got our indoor wet bulb was 82.7, outdoor dry bulb was 108.7. We're ready to charge. We'll plug it back in and we're going to charge it up. Okay. Purge a little, make sure we're all good. Okay, and here's our pressures now. So our target superheat is 40.1. Indoor saturation temperature is 63 degrees. And we want to see that more around 40. That's the temperature of at the evaporator. Virtual saturation temperature, there it is, 42.5. Superheat is 58. So we're off by about 18. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little refrigerant. And this one I'm just going to do a little bit at a time. And see if we can bring our superheat down. We're charging by liquid, so I'm just being kind of kind to the compressor. Charging it little by little. You can see that superheat jump around a bit, but it is coming down a little bit as we're adding the refrigerant. And you can hear the compressor liking the juice. 48.9.
145 on the superheat. Our pressures are 140. I'm going to grab my other gauges just to show you a little comparison on it, so I can explain a little bit more. So 42.3, pretty good. Real close. So here's a set of traditional gauges that I'm going to set kind of side by side so we can compare a bit. Look at that, our target superheat 40.3. We're right on the money there. 40.7. So we're adjusting. So we're going to let that sit for a bit. Looking at our, I mean that's right where we want to be. We're right on the dot. So looking at our gauges, this pink dial is for R410, 410a. The green dial is for R22. The orange dial is for R410a. So what we're looking at is we're looking for looking at our pressures. What I wanted, you know, usually around 40 degrees on the number of the color of the refrigerant. So ours is pink. It matches the color of our tank. At least at present, there's some talk of that possibly changing in the future. It looks like our superheat went a little below our target, so we're right, you know, we don't want to add any more refrigerant. I'm sure it's a good idea to slow down at this point when adding refrigerant. It's very easy to overcharge, especially when using a liquid refrigerant. So 40 degrees on our dial here would be about 100 on the outside pressure ring, would be about 125. If I jump over to our virtual saturation temperature is 50 degrees right now. We're at about 140, 150 on the low side pressure line. On the high side, we're at 382, almost to 400. So it looks like we're about 113 on the liquid saturation temperature, and it even tells me there. And so if we were to look at ambient plus 30 degrees for the R410a, this particular one wouldn't be a good reading, because ambient plus 30 would put us, we're at about 108 degrees outside, and that would put us at 138 on the, so that would not work here, because that would put us at a PSI of 500, which is not good. All right. I'd like to do a bit of a comparison on R22 for that, but that's a different story. So let's jump back over to our, we're at 33 on the superheat. So I've gone a little bit lower than I wanted to. We could recover a little refrigerant if we wanted to, or if we needed to, but this is not very far off. I mean, it's 5 degrees off of our target superheat. It's not very much. I'm going to feel my liquid sideline, which is now nice and cool. It's not super cold, but it's cool to the touch. 36.2. I can also go back inside and retake a, to write down what our superheat is right now. And so we're at 35 on the superheat. And we can recalculate that just to make sure that we're still within parameters. It's hot. Also just going to go inside and see how cool it is coming out of the vent and all that. So I don't know why I'm taking off my gloves at this point. I need to because they're soaking wet, that's why. But I'll need to detach my hoses and recheck. I found my other glove, I had dropped it. Yeah, it's way hot. 36 on the superheat, it's looking pretty good. I want to retake my measurements now that I'm closer, and again I also want to check inside to see where we're at. So, also just looking at our virtual saturation temperature is 48.7. Again, I'd like to see that more around 40. .2 on the superheat. So I'm going to go ahead and detach here. I'm going to take my clamps as well. Okay. I'm going to see if this side's leaking still. We'll check that. I'll go ahead and take off the high side. There we go. Quick shut-off's kicked in. Okay. Now I'm going to take this inside and get that indoor wet bulb and then another outdoor dry bulb and just reconfirm our numbers. We're at 35 on the superheat. I also need to take off. Oop. Camera fell. Camera fell again. Go ahead and turn it off. We're not going to need any more. I can recover the refrigerant from the hoses, which I should. I should have stopped a little bit earlier. So that'll be a different story. I can always recover them into a recovery tank. And there we go. All right. And like I said, we're going to take this inside and get our readings. Okay, so checking our return now. I'm going to redo this wet bulb measurement. Just clipping that on there. Let's see. It's feeling much cooler in here already. But it's going to take a little while. Okay, so now we're going to scroll over to our indoor wet bulb and hit enter. Now it's 76.7. If you remember, we were at 35 on the target superheat was our reading before. So now we're going to take our outdoor dry bulb. I'm going to, so 76.6 on our indoor wet bulb, 76.4, okay. And now we'll go take that outdoor and we'll recalculate this and see where we're at. Okay, so now we're ready to retake our outdoor dry bulb. We're taking this again in the shade. There we go. 107.9, 108, 110. I'll hold that steady somewhere over here. 112. We'll hit enter. Okay, so our target superheat is now 24.6. So we're a little low. I mean, we can still go a little lower. It's kind of weird that it changed so much, but I think it could be a little cooler myself. So I'm going to need to re-hook up. I won't need to purge anymore because my lines, and I probably will. Okay, so this time I'm going to go a little slower. Okay, there's my liquid refrigerant. Flip the can over. Okay. That seems like a more realistic superheat to where we're at. Some water. Gotta stay hydrated out here. Okay, we'll hook up our low side. And hook up our high side. Okay, now we're ready to purge, but we also need our gauges. So here's our high side and our low side. And we'll need to plug them back in as well. So low side here, high side right here. Alright, so our target superheat is now 24.6. We can actually read where we're at this point. We're at 56. So I'm going to purge our lines. We'll go high side. We'll go low side. Or medium side, just kidding. That's our refrigerant. Coming through. Okay, so now we're going to charge it. We're ready to charge. Okay. Now we're going to go a little slower this time. It just takes some time, got to take some time with it. You can hear the compressor. Alright, we're at 46, 45, dropping. Definitely got a ways to go. And again, once we're done, I'll compare again on the traditional gauges. Pop over and see what our saturation temperature is at. As I was telling you, we really like to see this around 40. And looking on this one, our subpool is offline. Looking at our charging for outdoor, 110 degrees. We're looking for 55. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we were at 110 and outdoor is 110. No. Outdoor ambient is 110, and so we're looking for a suction pressure, evaporator suction pressure of 55. Evaporator suction pressure of 144 and 55 degrees on evaporator suction temperature. We're at 47.7. We're at 136 psi. Back to our target superheat, we're looking for 24.6, and we're at 36.4. So we got all these things to balance out. Okay, I'm going to let this balance out a little bit, and well, I'll give it a little bit more, and then I'm going to let it balance out. I'm going to go grab some water. It is hot out here. 33 on the superheat. Virtual saturation temperature is 49.7. We're almost at 144 on the PSI. Right at 144 there, 143. Superheat is 32. That's coming in down a bit. I'm going to let that adjust for a bit. I'm going to check inside, grab a drink of water, and I'll be right back. Okay. Alright, just so hot, I went to get some water. Alright, we're at 31.8 on the superheat. Okay. I had to change my battery and my camera died. Bloody hot. Up here makes a decent chair. Closer. There's our subcool, 10 degrees. It showed up, so that's good. Before it was offline, wasn't even in the parameters, so we're definitely getting closer to our 144 psi according to our chart here. And 50 degrees saturation temperature. This shows 55. We're now at 145.5 psi. So I think we're gonna let this settle out here. I think we're good. Looking at my suction line, it's actually started to sweat a little bit. So I think we're good. PSI's adjusting. we want to be. But we'll let that settle out for a bit. I'll go back inside, feel the temperature in there. .5 subcool. 120 on the deal. Outdoor temperatures 110 degrees. .130 on the saturation temperature. We're looking good. We've now dropped to 142 on that deal. But once I recover the refrigerant that's left in the hose, it's going to bring it right about there. It's like our superheat is adjusting, coming down. Our PSI has also come down a little bit as well, so. May wind up giving it one little bit more juice. We are really close there at 10 degrees subcool. Back to our saturation temperature, 49. Do another little shot and then go check it inside. It takes a little while for things to adjust. So I'll check it inside and then come back out. Okay, let it run for a little while and see what we're at now. So 142. We got our subcool came up to 22.4. You can still see that suction line now is nice and cool. Looks like we use a little more on the... Do I have to do that right there? Oh my gosh. The whole yard can go anywhere. I have to do it right there. Oh, the smell is horrendous. Try to move a little into the shade or take some of the shade. It's 110 degrees, so it's plenty brutal out here. that's about going to do it. Again, going by our pressure and temperature chart. 144 and 110. Looking at 55. Superheats right there. So there's our 144. Oh, we're dropping a little lower than that. Let's take a look again at our conditional gauge. Add a little more of it. Let that adjust. So looking at our traditional gauges, we're at 470, would be about right here. Ambient plus 30 degrees would be around 140. So according to this would be 530, something like that. So not really the good rule of thumb, I think, for R410a. Pretty good on our superheat. .5 on the virtual saturation temperature. We're about just right there. just shut off on its own. That's pretty strange. Go check it outside. Okay, very weird. The unit turned off on its own. Maybe the fuse is loose. Gonna wait 5 minutes. We reached our temperature. Everything's good. Oh, the contactor. Contactor just pulled in again. That's weird. Check the contactor and check the thermostat inside. At least now I'm safe to turn off the unit. That's awfully weird. Got the disconnect pulled. I can hear the contactor now. It's pulled in. No problem. Everything looks okay. Maybe I have a faulty thermostat. I'll check the thermostat wiring. Everything looks okay on this end. Low voltage wires. Everything looks okay there. It's awfully weird. Alright, check the thermostat. Okay, checking the thermostat here. Just gonna check our wiring and make sure all of that is tightened down. Nothing, no wires touching or anything weird. Everything's a little close, but everything looks okay. Unit was set to on. Have it unplugged outside so I can actually turn it off. And my fan has a special feature that it takes a couple seconds after it's turned off to actually turn off. It's like a delay, so recover any cool air that's left in the fan as the AC runs. So now I'll turn it back on and go check it out. Normally if I turned it off I'd wait 5 minutes, but I've got the disconnect pulled so it's already ready to go once I turn it on. We'll wait for it to click back on and I'll go plug the AC back in. And the way it's kind of good, it's gave the AC a chance for the pressures to reset and equalize, and then just get another check on it. There it goes. Okay, so we got to turn back on inside. Now I got to put the fuses back in. Again, this will just give us a chance to see how things are going. Our gloves are giving me a little hard time. Here we go. Okay. Gives us a chance to see what our pressures are. Starting again, it gave the unit a chance to equalize again, so it's a good thing. a bit of patience. Removing heat from inside the house, that's good. Suction line is nice and cold. Liquid line is warm. Get a new contactor and a new thermostat just in case that was acting awfully funny. It's good. The shade is kind of over here now, so it's helpful. Pressure is still adjusting. We're looking good. While that's going, I'll go ahead and reset my service now. 54 on the virtual saturation. I think we're looking pretty good. Covers fit together a lot easier than good ones. Alright. So we're looking really good, pretty balanced between all of our parameters. 58.5 on the super heat. .5 on the saturation temperature. Looking good. Okay, so now I'm going to turn off my can of refrigerant and I'm going to detach my high side hose. Start with the high side hose. Verify that it's not leaking. Cap on it. Not leaking. Good. And that's the sensitivity on the minimum. I'll put it up to about middle. Looking good there. Okay. So go ahead and get my cap on there. I'm going to get some better caps, but just making sure these have the O-rings in. They're just a dust cap. Eventually I'll get some better caps for that. Okay. So I'm going to shut off my can of refrigerant. Turn it over. Shut it off. So normally I recover, or I would, recover the liquid refrigerant that's back in those two hoses back into the low side. But my deal's right on, so I don't want to mess that up. So I'm gonna need to recover the refrigerant instead. So I'll just have to do it a different way. Or I could recover the refrigerant. Recover the refrigerant. I'm going to open the low side, the high side all the way. And then going to meter in the low side. And that's it's going to take all that refrigerant back into the unit. There we go. Now our pressures have equalized. So we recovered all that refrigerant. And now all we'll have is a little bit of vapor left in the hose. That'll be our de minimis release. Looking good there. Looking at 110, and then we're like 150 on the PSI, or 110. So between 57 and 60 on the saturation. Looking good. We got 30.6 on the superheat, 30.5. It's looking good too. It's even dropping down. About 5 degrees away from the superheat. Looks good to me. All right. Okay, now let's take a look at this left side. Disconnect. There we go. I don't think we have a leak anymore. Let's check it. Nope, no more leak. I'll change the sensitivity a bit. About mid-level. Looks good. All right, unit's all charged. Good to go. Put my cap on, make sure my O-ring's in there, as it is. Alright, put my cap back on my container of refrigerant. I'll sit there. All in all, went pretty good. Now we can release the refrigerant from our hoses. Make sure to re-close off my high side. Close off my low side. And now it's just vapor that's left. So we want to not leave anything trapped in the deal. And then we can store hoses back up on the deal. any dirt and stuff from getting in there, dirt or moisture, any other contaminants from getting into our gauges. Yeah, I can turn it off, conserve my battery. This deal also has a backlight, which is kind of nice. This was the S-Van 3. Very nice gauges that do the calculations for you. It's a nice thing. Alright, I'll sit there. Thanks for watching. Funky maintenance. And now inside I didn't have them with me. Some thermometers to take the good temperature readings inside, but sure we're going to be good. We're charged up to the proper charge, and I can check the other things later another time. Alright. I did have a thermometer. If I use this, I just hit the enter button and went over to the outdoor tri-bulb. About 86 degrees here. And if I put it down, it's it right here. Coming out at 63. So we get our 20-degree split. Alright. Checking at the return. We're going in at about 85, 86. We were coming out at 63, so we got our 20-degree split. Okay, here it is at the suction line of the AC. It's the liquid line, and then the larger one is the suction line. So I just wanted to feel in here for make sure this is nice and cold. I don't want to peel off my stuff, but yeah, nice and cold. Nice. That's good. Alright, charged up and running. Now it's just got to compete with the outside 110-degree weather and the current temperature in here, which is 84 degrees. It's going to take a little while, some space to cool down. It's kicking off and on. It's very weird. It's kicking off and on by itself. I'm going to need a new contactor or check the thermostat. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off at this point. And then I'm going to pull and rerun the thermostat wires individually, and just to make sure nothing is touching, because something's going on. And I'm just going to adjust the wiring here to make for certain that either that or we got something loose. So it's kind of tricky how these are run. There's the white wire. So it's a little loose, a little odd. Red jumper wire. Gosh. There's just no room in these little thermostats there. Here's the yellow. I wish I had my meter so I could measure. and the red there. Okay. What I can I mean, it's not a thermal switch because both units would be turning off. I mean, the fan would be turning off separate from the compressor, and it wouldn't turn them both off at the same time. So all our wiring's okay. I wish I had my meter. I could test for 24 volts. What we don't know, is it a bad thermostat or is it a bad contactor? The suspicion would be the contactor, as it was running low on refrigerant. It's possible that it, what do you call it? It kind of cooked the contactor. So, yep. Alright. Double checked all my thermostat wires here, just kind of tightened down each of the nuts. Any little break in the connection could be making this happen. So checking it outside now. Everything's working good. My thermostat wire where it comes in, strapped around under the suction line. And it looks like we're taped underneath it. Place that back inside the garage. So far it's not quitting anymore, so that's good. Maybe it was on one of those wire nuts. That wire all the way through here. Everything looks sound. Passes through, and then the break is at the wire nuts that I showed you. So, alright. So I'm pretty convinced right here is where my problem was with the low voltage wiring, and any split or any connection is your most likely places for things to happen. Now this particular little switch is the switch I was telling you about that keeps the fan running for a certain amount of time after the AC turns off to recover the cool air. And I think that little device, I think the connections were most likely where my poor connection was. A lot of times these little devices are installed as an energy savings plan, and you know, the techs that do that, they may be good techs, but sometimes they're under pressure, you know, tension to get the multiple jobs done, and a lot of times they're splicing these wires live, you know, having low voltage power, but low voltage can still be dangerous. Anyway, I think this was where my poor connection was. I'm probably going to try to have a contactor at the ready, and even a thermostat at the ready, just in case that it is either of those devices. But that's all the low voltage wiring, and you know, unless something was chewed in a wall or chewed outside or something along those lines, and those things can and do happen, but this one I think was at that device. But we're all charged, all good. The AC is performing better than it ever has. I think it's a lot, air is coming out a lot cooler, and it's keeping things nice and comfortable. Looks like we use a little more on the... Did you have to do that right there? Oh my gosh. The whole yard can go anywhere. I had to do it right there. Oh, the smell is horrendous.
A quick search of my YouTube channel, you should find a bunch of different videos that'll be helpful to your maintenance needs. Also, there's links in the description below the videos to tools and parts used in the videos.